Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to work on the config map and secrets. Now do remember that config map and secrets is part of your storage because it's a place or area where it actually is storing some kind of information. So it is actually a part of storage which we are covering as storage part 2. If you're looking for the code, you can go to the mastering docker-kube on my GitHub place, and then you can check for a file called storage-part 2, in which it has the config map and secrets, which is part of those files. And if you're looking for the previous one, I've renamed it to storage part 1, in which you have the previously covered topics on storage will be visible. Now, as you can see, firstly, we'll understand config map, and then I'll tell you what is the problem with config map, why we are looking for a secret, and I'm going to explain you that as well. Before we go ahead, just try to understand the need of config map and secrets firstly. So if you see this particular YAML file, it basically works fine, completely works fine. But this is for installing a MySQL. According to the documentation of MySQL on Docker Hub, you can see that for starting MySQL, you need to run with this environment variable. So E for environment variable. So if you're running a Docker container after downloading MySQL image from Docker, you can actually run with -E, and you can specify the root password, without which your MySQL wouldn't start. It will go in the error state. Because if you check the logs, it will say that MySQL, root password is required. So that's what it is said in the MySQL manual itself on your Docker Hub, asking you to make sure that you declare this as part of your environment variable. And that's a basic thing to get your MySQL thing working for Docker. And the same scenario for your Kubernetes as well, because Kubernetes uses Docker or similar, container, and basically utilizes some kind of a CRI within itself to execute it. So it also needs to pass that value. If we're going to look at this same value in terms of a YAML file, you're going to get this value in this format. So as you can see over here, so this is what we are talking about. So after declaring your container, so here I'm using the MySQL version 8.4.0, which is the latest version. And if you go over here to this URL, you'll get to know that. All right, in this URL, where I'm in hub.docker.com, MySQL, you can see that these are the supported tag irrespective to Docker file. Doesn't matter of Docker file, but anything else as well. So 8.4.0 is the version, which is the latest. You can go for 8.4, 8, and basically you need to map the name accordingly over here, whatever you're using. Once you do that, then pretty much you are in a situation where you're using this particular image from Docker Hub. And then in terms of instructions, right? So starting MySQL server instance, this is the basic thing. So the starting MySQL server is as simple as it can get. The basic configuration is your password should be defined. But do remember that there is a exposure of password over here. As you can see that your password, it will be exposed when you enter it in this way. Or when you enter it in the YAML file also, you can actually see the password over here written. So you can see the root password, your database name, and the username, and then the password which you're creating. So these are some of the values which you're using while creating this MySQL instance. And those is quite readable inside your YAML file. So if this YAML file leaks outside, then it could be a disaster because your passwords will be exposed. And based on this password, the hackers will get to know the formatting of your password, how your company follows the format, because once a format gets exploded, right, we may have to create a new format of your password. So that's basically, we don't want that to happen. So the use of config map in one activity, it's going to help you in this situation. There are two problems here, as you can see. One is like you're specifying all the environment variables in a YAML file, and it's just, if it has 20 environment variables, it's just gonna go 20 lines, and then it's gonna have the value of 20 lines, and then it's gonna have a name for the environment variable, and that's gonna be another 20 lines. So altogether, it's gonna be a 40 lines in your YAML file. So that's something we don't wanna do as a Kubernetes administrator. So in that situation, we're going to create a config map in which it's going to store all this information. I'll show you that on the below diagram, but then it's going to store in the Kubernetes as part of the config map configuration. And then it's going to, wherever you are actually calling the YAML file, rather than calling the environment name, you call the config file. There are two ways of calling it. One, you can directly call it as a config file. Config map. You can directly call it under your specifications, or you can call it as part of your volumes as well. So we will see on the below examples, we will see both the situations, how to use it as a specific one, and then how to use it as a volume also we will see on the further down the class. So we have like 4 sessions, I guess. In that, we will try to cover all those things. On the next video, we will see the hands-on in terms of executing this particular method, and then we will see that because we have not seen the environment method so far, so I'm going to show you the env method, how to do this, and then on the next video we will see the first method, which is the imperative method. Thank you again for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.